Understanding how to loop in CUBASE can be a major time saver for you. I'm going to go over the various looping procedures. I'm also going to talk a lot about the left and right locator and how to move them around to help you loop. Let's start off tough. We're going to do the hardest ways to loop first, and then we'll get to the good stuff. Look at the left and right locator. They're positioned at bar 2 and 3. We have our drum loop positioned at bar 5 to 7. Now, so far I've set it the tempo so that it is exactly lined up with our drum loop. Don't really worry about that right now. I just want to show you how to loop. In level 3 of this video series, I go through beat detection and time warp and hit points and all the good stuff, so make sure you see the video on that. Now let's grab the transport bar, move it up here, and what we're going to do is set the left locator to bar 5 and then the right locator to bar 7. Now once again, I'm just showing you the longest, sort of hardest way to do this, but we'll get to the good stuff soon. Now make sure the loop button is on. Actually, CUBASE calls it the cycle button, but we commonly refer to it as the loop or the cycle. It doesn't really matter. Now CUBASE says it's going to begin playing at bar 1. What I want to do is press the L right here, and now my cursor has jumped to bar 5. You can see it right there. Now when we press the play button, it's going to loop for us. I have the click button turned on. Let's just turn it off. So that's one way to get looping done. Let's move this audio file over here, and let's get the loop to go right here. What we can do is if we hold down the control key and click at bar 3, it moves the left locator over. To move the right locator, hold down the alt key and click at bar 5. Now we can take our cursor and just click right at bar 3, and then hit the play button. Okay, now let's move this loop once again somewhere else. And you can see we can actually drag the loop anywhere we like. We can also do this. Let's move this guy over here. If we go a little bit higher on the ruler area until it turns into a pencil, we can actually draw in our left to our right locator. Now it just so happens that I have snapping turned on. That's why you see it sort of snapping to the bars here. I've just done that to make it easier for me. Now would you believe it? There's even more ways to loop. Let's grab this audio file, put it right there. And what I can do is press the P key on my keyboard. All right, here I'm going to press P. See, the left and right locators automatically go around the part that I've selected. I'm going to make a copy of this. What if I had two parts here? You can select them and then hit P. There we go. Now let's just erase the second part I've made. Oh, I've erased both. Let's click just on this one right there. There's an even easier way to loop, and if you've owned CUBASE for a while, you might have even missed this feature. It's called loop selection, or the Shift-G command. So all you do is just grab your audio file and click on Shift-G. Now this is great because, here, I'll show you this again. What it does is it moves the left and right locator over to our loop point. If loop is off, it turns it on. It takes our cursor and puts it at the beginning of the loop, and then it presses play. So it's doing quite a lot. Let's do Shift-G again. Let's move it over here and press Shift-G. Move it over here, Shift-G. It's an amazing command. A more advanced feature for this would be if you were zoomed out way over here. Let's grab this and put it at bar 37 and then zoom in. Now see, we can't see bar 1 anymore. But what I want to do is just loop this really quickly right here. All right, let's stop that. Now I want to take my start time for this audio file. I'm going to double click here. And I'm going to make it bar 1. Then I'm going to hit enter. Now right now the audio file has jumped from bar 37 to bar 1. Make sure this button is turned on right here. This is called the auto scroll. Now let's think about this for a moment. When I press Shift-G in a moment, the left and right locator are going to go around my audio vent, which is at bar 1. the cursor is going to jump to bar 1, the loop button's going to turn on, and the play button's going to start. Now because the auto scroll button's on, that means my window is going to automatically scroll over to bar 1 and bar 2. Let's do that right now. Now here's a little trick that I learned. You can actually create a skip loop. You can take your loop and drag it over here, then take the left locator and drag it past the right locator. Now I'm just going to zoom out a bit here. Make sure the loop button's on or else it won't skip this section. Let's start playing from bar 4 and let's see what happens. Watch as it gets to 6, it's going to jump straight to 8. This is great because if you want to delete a section, you can kind of see, okay, well, if I skip from here to here, is it going to sound good? And if it does, hey, that's great. Now you can erase the part you don't want.